What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the FansToys FT-10X Phoenix, their version of a Jetfire. This figure is from 2018, but I never was able to get my hands on it. This is a special metallic version, and it was just harder to get a hold of. I missed my chance, and then it took me a while to get a hold of it. But today we're going to take a look at it. What I really want to do is kind of show you some of the differences and what it has over the FT10 standard version. So that's what we're going to do. But on the box, you just have a FT10X there. This side, instead of being black, is silver. Now on the back, the product images are a little bit different than the standard version. Actually, you also have FansToys 2018. The original was in 2017. You also get a booklet. And this is pretty much the exact same book that you got with the FT10, so no change there. But you do get a special card here, and I'll just show you that. You get a numbered card. So this one is number, let's see, 329. I'm told that that's 1,500 of these were made, but I'm not sure if that's really true or not, or if they made more or less or whatever. But it is individually numbered, so you know what number you got. But that's really it for the packaging. It's pretty much the same as any of the other FT10s that are out there. So without further ado, let's get the figure out here and see how cool it actually is. And here we have the figure out of the packaging. He does come in his robot mode. I decided to start in the jet mode because most of the reviews you've probably seen start from the robot mode and go to jet mode. So I am going to do the transformation back to robot mode, and I also just want to do the reveal that way. But here's the jet, really quite beautiful. I'm going to try to get in close on the paint because that's what's special about this particular release. So hopefully we can get a little bit of that paint on camera. It's very hard to show this figure on camera, but you can see you've got this metallic white paint and some metallic fleck in there that reflects. And then you've got on the red here, metallic red. Move out a little bit, and you can see there's that darker metallic red on the backpack, and actually everywhere. All the red paint has been changed to this metallic red. This was metallic red on the original release, which was odd because the rest of the figure was not metallic red, so I'm not sure why they just chose to just do the legs in the metallic red and leave the rest the more brick red. But on this one, it's all matched, so every little place where you see red paint, it's all that same red. You can see on the rear here, let's take a look at the rear, the boosters are this different faded, almost like weathered color. It looks really cool. I love that look. You can definitely see the more metallic red back here. The whole thing is painted from head to toe. Every part of this is actually painted, and we'll see that in robot mode as well. Here's the bottom of the actual jet, and that's pretty clean. I've always liked this version of Jetfire, but this one in particular, it's got my heartstrings. I love this figure. But you can see you got that same metallic red down here. You got some translucent red here, same metallic red here, and then the rest is all painted that metallic / pearl white. Right, even on the top you've got the metallic pearl white, and then you got the red here around the these boosters here. On the back you've got the metallic black for the feet, and we'll see that more in the robot mode, and that matches the paint here as well as the paint on these intakes here. So really nice job with the paint. There are some features here in the robot mode, or in the jet mode. You can move these wings to different positions. So let's just get him stood up so you can see what I'm doing. You can kind of have these straight. You can also have it this way, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So you can try and straighten these out, or you can have them flayed back. You can also lower the flaps. This is part of the transformation, but you can lower the flaps like on a real jet, which is kind of neat. You can also articulate these. So if you wanted those flat, you could do that. Or if you wanted them up, they kind of click into place there, right in that spot. And then on the bottom, you do have the landing gear. So if you open up these little doors, these are all die cast, by the way. There's a lot of die cast in this figure. Everything is pretty much die cast on this figure. So I'll kind of point it out. So all of this here, die cast. The feet are die cast. This centerpiece obviously is metal die cast. Up here you got the landing gear, that's die cast. And let's see, some of the internal hardware here, these pieces right here, these side pieces that become his chest, those are die cast. So you got a lot of metal here on this plate, and that's why this is such a hefty figure, and also why it costs so much. It's a very expensive figure. At retail, let's put this landing gear in so we have it all even. At retail, this was $260. Which is a pretty hefty price. Most FansToys figures are in that range, $150 to $200. This one was a little bit more on the expensive side, a lot more plastic, a lot more die cast. But on this particular one, you got the extra paint, tons of paint. There isn't anything that isn't painted on this, actually. So we'll go through the entire figure. I don't want to answer the question of whether this is worth the extra cost. At this point, if you want this figure, you're going to pay a ridiculous price. I got it for a pretty good price, so I'm happy with my purchase. I paid over retail for sure. I don't feel like sharing the price, but it is definitely more than retail. But at the same token, I'm not paying some crazy, $500 for this. And right on the market right now, this is going somewhere between $400 and $500 on the aftermarket, which is crazy. I don't think that's a lot of money for this figure. So that's kind of the cost, and what you get is the extra paint over the other figure. There are really no other features. There's no other accessories. You do get the gun. Here's the gun. It is painted in this metallic black paint. If you don't believe me, here's the standard gun. And you can see this is just a flat black plastic, whereas this is painted. All the paint looks really good. I mean, everything looks good. Hopefully it's come up on camera. By the way, I didn't even mention, I've changed my background here because the white background is just impossible to see figures like this that are white. So I had to change it for this, but we won't be keeping this for all of our reviews. But you can mount the gun on the back there. There's lots of different ways to do it. You can have it like that, or you can have it kind of facing downwards. But anyway, there's a lot of ways you can mount this on like that. So that's really it for the jet mode. And for a quick comparison, there he is with the MP10 Optimus Prime and the Masterpiece Bumblebee. Both of these are the older versions. I kind of still like them, but anyway, there's some comparison for you. He is pretty big. I don't know if they could have made him any bigger than this and still had him a reasonable size to play with, but there you go. So here he is with the standard Jetfire on the right, and you can see the difference in the paint. Pretty much all of that dark paint is this lighter red, brick red paint, and then all the white is more of a pale white, or like a flat white, versus this metallic pearl white. It is really hard to see, so I'm going to try to get in closer and maybe catch the light so you can see. There's the metallic version, and then there's the standard version. You can see the difference in the paint. There is no paint on this one, it's just plastic color. I did move his wing up so you could see that. You can also see the boosters are very different, right? You can see you've got that weathered, faded look, whereas these are just a flat black. So you do get a little extra paint here as well. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his robot mode. I'm going to do my best to try to keep this on camera, but it is a pretty big figure. So let's start with the wings. So first fold these down. We'll put these boosters away, so open up these. They are pretty tight because of the paint. These tolerances are really tight, so if you need a spudger, go ahead and use a spudger. But just be careful with the paint there. Open up these wings this way. Fold the flaps inwards. And then fold these over. Same on this side. And then push the wings upwards. And that's it for that. Next we're going to basically detach this backpack on both sides. So you should have this loose like that. And now we can work on the upper body here. So let's take all of this part out, detach here from, and you're going to have to pull this down. So pull that off, this die cast piece, and then here, this whole piece is going to detach. And it's a nice tight fit, but you can get that out. Fold this over, fold this metal piece inwards, and then fold that in. And just let that be there for now. Fold the nose cone in, and then put this on top. And that can stay there for just a minute. Right, now we can get the arms worked out. So these inner pieces are pretty tight. So what I like to do is push on this, and that gets these chest pieces out. Because the tolerance is so tight, you just need a little bit of help there. So get those all the way out. Make sure you have them fully extended outwards. Then you can release this from the arms and just let that be for now. And fold the arms outwards. And that will leave this, and just kind of set that down for a second there. And now we can work on the chest piece. So close this panel here. This is just a gap filler, but it does also secure the chest piece. And push this inwards, and it should mate up with that piece. Same on this side. Close this filler piece, push the chest in. Now we can take care of this, but you need to get the head out from the back here. The easiest way I've found is to get as much clearance that you can here, because otherwise you can't get the head out. So what you need to do is extend the legs, and you want to do that without releasing those tabs. So pull the legs down and just have them sit like that. Now you have it like that, you can move the legs forward one click, and that should give you enough clearance to bend the backpack backwards and get his head out. Okay. Now that they have the head out, we can push this back up, straighten the legs, and just leave those there for a minute. Turn the head 180, and now we'll take care of this backpack. So you want to basically separate the top of the backpack, compress the backpack in, and then push this back in. There's 4 tabs on the bottom to tab it in. Make sure you folded this tab piece up and in so it sits flat on the back like that. Now take this whole thing, and it should basically sit nice and snug in that little spot. Okay. Now we can take this backpack. You want to flip out this little tab here. That's what holds it together. Take these panels here, and those are going to tab right in. Same on this side. Now you can take the head, get the backpack tabbed in, and then push that in, and that'll lock the head in, and the backpack is attached. All right, so we're in the home stretch here. So take care of the legs. Next, open up this panel, detach the legs. It's tabbed in right here. You can see there's a tab right there. And get that pegged back in to the top. Okay, same on this side. Unpeg that. And they're very strong tabs, so I don't feel like I'm going to break anything there. Now that you put that in, this will lock the legs in place. Okay. While we're at it, why don't we get the feet out? So open up these panels here. Unfurl the foot. Close that back up. And I'm just being careful here because this foot is all die cast and painted. So I'm just trying not to damage anything. But there you go, got one foot, and same on the other side. Open these up, flip this open, flip the foot down, close that back up. Get the foot outwards. And you should have everything nice and flat down there, so he can actually stand on his own 2 feet. And last finishing touches, we're going to take these arms, extend downwards, and then turn, extend downwards, and turn. There's a little gimmick here, so you fold this upwards, and then as you do that, it should pull this little thing outwards. So same on this side, fold that in, and that will allow you to pull out that little, what do you call it? I guess his forearm piece. Open up this back piece, flip out your hand, and close this up. Same on this side. And I think that's it. So there you have Jetfire, or Skyfire, whatever you like to call him, transformed into the robot mode. And to complete this, you're going to want to put the gun in. So here's his gun, and it tabs in just like any other FansToys figure. So let's get that. And there you have him with his gun in his hand. It is a painted gun. The hands are really good on this figure. I mean, no different than the FT-10 original release, but I just love that he has that trigger holding finger that goes through. It just looks much more natural and realistic for him to hold the gun that way. But all in all, very nice paint on pretty much everything here. You do get pretty good articulation. Not everything, he's a kind of a big guy, so let's talk about his articulation. So let's start with the head. So the head is on a rotating swivel, so you get up pretty high down to there. You get a rotation all the way around. The head has some really nice detail. I did notice that he's got basically painted blue eyes instead of metallic blue eyes, which is kind of odd because this is supposed to be a metallic, special edition. So I just find that a little strange, but it still looks good. I like the blue eyes. You do get a rotation. Here, let's do that without the gun. Rotation at the shoulder, and this armor piece moves out, and then you can get a shoulder all the way up to there. You do get a bicep swivel that goes all the way around. You get a double jointed elbow that gets you all the way up to there. Nice clean sculpt. Rotation at the wrist, and you also get this motion here, which allows you to do cool things like, make the peace sign, stuff like that. I mean, he just really is very, very, one of the best hands in the business in terms of third-party figures, right? Just so posable, not irritating or fiddly at all. Great hands. No waist rotation and no ab crunch. Very, very, I think a lot of people were disappointed that he didn't have that. My buddy, I think it was Pake, said, call me when he has got waist articulation. So still no waist articulation, no improvement over the original. Still love it though. I think it's a great figure. So you can get these hip skirts on the side. Your leg goes up to there before it's hindered by the piece here. Goes back to there. And goes out to there on a soft ratchet. The weight is a little bit too much. You can tighten the screws back there. It does tend to fall under its own weight. You have a thigh rotation here, which rotates all the way around, which is nice. And you also have a knee rotation. FansToys Squeak. You do get a knee bend 90 degrees all the way up to there. Really nice. You have an ankle tilt. This is a little bit limited here, so you can get this kind of folded outwards a little bit more, and then you can maybe get a little bit more out of this. But it has a toe tilt and a heel tilt. It's just a little bit hard to work with. So pretty good articulation for a guy that's this big. For a quick scale comparison, there he is with a Masterpiece Carbot. Blue Streak, and we have the Transform Element Optimus Prime, and it looks really good. I think this is a great scale. You know, the Carbot comes up to about his knee, and Optimus comes up to about his waist, a little over his waist. So nice scale. They look good together. It's a well sculpted and sized figure. And for a comparison with the original, there he is, and you can see a little bit of the paint difference. It's hard to get on camera, honestly, but it definitely shines in person. It's just the red and the white really have a look to them in person that can't really be reproduced on the camera. But there you go. There's the two together. All the same differences that I pointed out before are the same here. There's really no other differences in terms of just the paint. That's really it. So final thoughts wise, I think this is an excellent figure by FansToys. I love the look of it. I love the paint. The million-dollar question that everybody asks is it worth it? Is it worth the extra cost? I would say for the $260, which is the retail price, I think it is worth the extra cost. You know, you're paying for paint. It's fully painted versus the original, which is not painted. But at the current cost, which is, you know, upwards of $350 to $400, maybe even, you know, more than $400. No, I don't think so. I think, you know, you shouldn't be paying that much for this figure. It's become a collector's item because it's an X version, which is limited, so there's only 1,500 of them. So yeah, of course the price can go up, but I don't think, unless you love this character. I love this character. I love this figure. So to me, it's worth it to have it. But if you don't really care for the paint, or you can't see the difference in the paint, which is a lot of part of the issue, is people can't see the difference, especially in photos or in pictures or in video, then why would you get it, right? So a lot of people told me they can't tell the difference. They can't see it. I put up a photo before this review, and people said, what's the difference? So if you can't really tell the difference, or you just really don't care about the paint, then yeah, definitely this isn't going to be worth it to you, because you're paying a premium for something that you don't really care about, right? Just get the original version, and that's good enough. So you really have to answer that question for yourself on whether this is worth it. To me, personally, I love it. I love this character. I love this figure. I can recommend it. But that's really it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.